Hello, welcome to Book Club. Today, the boys are contained from where we left off. We went a little off schedule, but that's when the most amazing things happen. Am I right? So,
hmm
we are
For sure.
starting with the Problem of Socrates this time. Last episode, we just read the Maxims and Arrows, the correct naming, as
I think I
Connor and
think
I
I
would
think you
say.
mean
Yeah.
apothegms and darts.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
the
You even
crazy
had to
part is
look
that
it
you
up.
had to look it up.
Apothegms.
Yeah, you had to
Yeah.
look it up when we just kind of
Sorry,
know it.
my
So,
my guy used a thesaurus, but
yeah, and how was that? How'd you enjoy that?
I still don't know
Um,
what an apothegm is.
It's a maxim,
I'm
Seth.
actually I'm actually realizing it's in a apothegm. It literally hits the PHTHE.
apothegms. Okay, you know what?
I've never seen someone
PHTH?
ride that line before. That's a new diphthong.
PHTH is wild.
That's what I'm saying. It's a diphthong. It's I haven't seen it since diphthong. No,
Diphthong.
diphthong it doesn't even count. Is it diphthong?
Never even heard that word.
Sorry, this isn't a grammar podcast. This is
Yeah, I'm lost. I'm
Yeah,
being honest right now.
all
I'm
right.
still
I
lost.
should have got
Actually,
the
I'm
other
gonna.
version.
Fine, maxims.
Yeah, thank you.
We're
Just for
gonna
that,
make it
Seth, you're going first
apothegm.
on telling us how you've been.
No,
Just for that.
it's it's been uh it's been a slow week. It's the week before Christmas. In the engineering world, that means everybody just disappears to another land far, far away. And so nobody's in the office. I mean, I opened this morning with 30 minutes of early 2010s rap music being played out loud by one of the guys in our office, much to the joy of everyone that was still there. So it's a good day. Not much was done, and please do not show my employer this podcast. Um,
It's a good thing I know the company you work for, and I got their emails.
I got a little sick over the weekend, so that kind of sucked. And my team lost in the playoffs. Our team lost in the playoffs. Rest in
Our
peace,
team?
Texas A&M.
Oh yeah.
And the worst part about the game was that they made me watch one of the most miserable games of football I've ever witnessed.
It was
At the
such a bad game.
halftime, it was 0-0. We watched an entire half of football and not a single team scored. And
Which is
I
like
still watched the whole thing.
it's like kind of
With a smile
expected
on your
on Miami's
face.
side, right?
Yep.
But for
Yeah.
us to yeah, that was such a poor
Dropped an
offensive
absolute
showing
stinker.
on
Final
on
score
ours.
10-3. Absolute nightmare of a game.
And we ended with an interception. It's actually like
Yeah,
very
in the end
well.
zone.
Yeah,
So it was gonna go to overtime, and instead,
we decided to lose the game right then and there.
yeah. So good thing Christmas is coming up because I need some holiday joy. That's for sure.
Holiday spirit.
Yeah, bring him back.
But that's all that's been going on with me. I'll pass it to Connor.
Whoa. Little diagonal pass here?
Yeah, a little diagonal.
Make
Go
sure you
through the
don't get
legs
intercepted.
action.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man. Not A&M over here. Anywho, it's been a pretty chill week. We are slowing down for the holidays too. Um, I don't even know why I'm working tomorrow. No supply houses are open. No manufacturer supply houses are open. So we'll see how tomorrow goes.
Do you get
I'm on
paid
a service
hourly?
call and what was that?
Do you get paid hourly?
Yeah. So I'll just be, if I run a service call tomorrow, it's just going to be like, well, this isn't working and I don't have this in my van, so sorry. We'll see you Monday. But yeah,
Don't even give him Friday.
Yeah.
yeah. So anywho, we're allowed to work the whole day tomorrow if we want to, or we can work a half day. So then we have Thursday and I believe Friday off too, and then I have Saturday, Sunday. So it's looking like a long weekend for the old con man, and I'm really excited.
Good.
Nice.
Good
But
con man.
go.
Good.
yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it's been a week, so
Yeah, it's a
not a
short
lot's
one.
been going on.
Yeah.
No homework this week.
No homework.
No.
Yeah, there's no homework. We just did right back up
It's
again.
that
It
win.
was
It's
pretty
that winter
fast.
break.
Yeah, we
It
got
was
winter
pretty
break.
nice.
It has been nice, man. Like no homework, just no stress about like the book, and work's been slow too, so it would have been the perfect time to actually have to read more.
Yeah, right.
But
You could have gotten ahead.
I
You could have
reread.
done.
you
That's a good
reread.
Oh,
idea.
Look
That's
at
a good
you.
idea.
Mr. Teacher's pet for here.
Yes,
You get a
yes.
gold star.
Getting reacquainted with the material.
Getting reacquainted with them too, even during break. Always got to be on top of your homework.
Man, I'm
Yeah.
surprised you didn't ask the teacher last week if we had any homework, you know.
I know. You could have
Actually, you
ruined
know
our
what?
whole
Connor,
lives.
Seth, bad eggs. You two,
Bad
bad
eggs.
eggs.
Bad
Why
eggs.
can't you
Bad
be more
eggs.
like your peer David over here?
Yeah,
Goes
no.
My
the
egg is
extra
great.
mile.
Y'all are
I'll
some
have you
rotten
know.
eggnog. I'm just gonna say it.
Dude, you don't
Well,
sound like you're really in the holiday spirit.
I just want to say that your star pupil over here showed up third. I was before your star pupil. So what's that
Well,
about?
well, you know what, Connor? You know what else happened? Is that all the other like 7 other times when David shows up second? I think he's given some excuse.
Hey,
Okay.
Man,
but other than today, I've been consistently third. That has to account for something,
It
Teach.
does. You're okay. Okay, you're not actually. You're like a little bit above the bag. You're just an egg.
I'm
Seth
just
over
like a
here,
deviled egg,
actually,
Just an
you
egg.
know?
Seth,
I'm a
very
deviled egg.
rotten
they're
egg.
good. They're good.
Seth's
Dude,
a very rotten egg.
you can't say you're consistently third because that just makes it so obvious that I'm always last.
You see how they
Dude.
turn on each other just like
I
that?
know, like at least we were bad eggs together, and now we're bad eggs apart.
I
They're
just
dividing the poor masses against
Connor,
each other.
Connor has the reminder when Seth was telling him how much it was his conversation and how he didn't want Connor to
He had
talk.
to get me
He
back.
had a vendetta.
I get it. I get it.
Okay,
Oh.
David, did you say
Anyway.
how you've been? I can't remember.
yeah.
We went on a
I
tangent.
I have not. I have not. I just said that I reread because star people and all.
Gross.
But
Gross. Boo.
yeah, go ahead. At least I'm not a bad egg. Anyways,
Wow.
I jest. Week's been pretty good. Week was pretty slow for us over here too. Today I did no work and only did electrical work, so that was pretty fun. I had to go to the hardware store 3 separate times, so you know how that is. It was not fun. Granted, it's only about 5 minutes out, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But 3 separate times is a little bit, a
No
little
much.
obscene, a little too much. I can't, and they're like 2 hours apart. Like, hey, I'm back. But that's what I did today. Christmas time is coming up. This weekend, I am going to go to Fredericksburg for a little kind of
Ooh.
weekend cabin trip getaway.
That's
Oh.
cool.
So that'll be a nice time. I'm going to explore the town I never got to go beforehand and joint joint Christmas dinner with my girlfriend and her family and my family. So it'll be the third full family
Dang,
get
bro.
together.
Must be going
Three.
really well between the families.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
That's big ups.
it's big
It
ups.
is big
Yeah,
ups.
I can't complain there. They
You
get
better
a
get on that forge, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I
Now
know.
you're trapped. Though you guys can never break up. The families are too
So
interconnected.
true.
Yeah.
That's okay by me, man. Ain't
So
no
true.
ain't no
Good
worries
answer.
here.
Good answer.
But
That is good.
yeah, that's pretty much been it for me. I'm excited for Christmas, and yeah, I'll hand it off to Howie last but not least. How have you been, dude?
Dude, it was good actually. I got to
How'd your project go
Yeah.
that night? How's
Yes.
everything been?
yeah, bro. I actually do have a little bit to talk about. The project the project went is going good. It's in testing phase. It's funny how y'all were talking about like how y'all like came in the office, it was all chill and stuff, bro. I came into the office today, right back to it. Um, had some stuff falls through the cracks on big projects and stuff. So got some bugs to kink out. So that was pretty much me. Like I just came in straight away to doing some bugs and some fixes. So not super stressful though. Not as stressful as like like the obviously the main portions that I finished the project, like it's like done. It's just going through this testing phase. So just kind of working on the kinks. So it's not as stressful as like, bro, I have to get this entire thing done now. Now it's just kind of like something pops up, I fix it real quick kind of thing. I already wrote all the main code, everything. So like, finding that's a part of like, fixing a bug with like the code you write. have a pretty good idea of like where in the code the bug is
It's
happening,
fresh
you
in
know?
your brain too. It's not coming back to it 2 months later, but you completely forgot a good
Yeah,
portion or
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah. It's like fresh. Like I just wrote this stuff. So like I know how to fix it. So that's it's a lot less stressful because now it's not like, oh my gosh, I have to finish this entire thing by this deadline. Now it's just kind of like, you know, fixing it. And it's like not as bad. Um, other than that, I also went to visit my parents this weekend in Louisiana. So that was fun.
Oaks.
Yeah, we had like it was like a little Thanksgiving Christmas crossover. We had like Thanksgiving one day, um, Christmas the next. So it was good.
This
Um,
weekend.
yeah, this week, yeah, it was like pretty. It was fast. It was a little fast
Whoa,
paced.
that's
Um,
interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
yeah, well,
Thursday,
it was just
But I guess
Thanksgiving's
it
on a
because
makes
Saturday.
sense, right?
yeah, like one day you can do the turkey, next morning you can do the presents and stuff.
Wow.
And so because we didn't go for Thanksgiving, we're not going to go like this week. We're actually visiting Nicole's family this weekend, so. Yeah, so we're doing that
Okay.
this weekend with them, and so we were just able to. We just figured we'd try to fit, both Thanksgiving and Christmas into that time window, which we did. It
Nice.
was it went successful. It was great. It was really fun. My my brother and his girlfriend actually got me a little present and got me a little something. It's a little
No
yeah,
Dude,
it's a
way,
little book club notebook with our
dude.
logo on the front.
That's
Pretty cool.
sick.
It's really cool, right? We got the
What
uh
the
We got the Albert Camus. Is this backwards for y'all? Is this reverse?
The
no.
No, I'm
struggle
reading it.
Okay.
itself towards the heights is enough to fill a man's hearts. One must imagine Sisyphus happy.
That
Albert
You got a
is
little
Camus.
Albert
so
Camus on
freaking
the back.
cool.
What the heck?
Yeah.
That's
Dude, I
literally
want
so
one. That'd be
dope.
like so good for book taking.
Yeah,
Ah,
Yeah.
what the heck?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
jealous.
bad now.
So yeah. Yeah. Be jealous. Be jealous.
I'm jealous,
So
man. A little bit of jealousy, just a little bit goes a
yeah,
long way.
it does. So that was really cool. It was all great. I'm very thankful for all the gifts I got. I got some new books on the bookshelf. So yeah, it was really nice. And it was like business of work and then get to like enjoy and relax a little bit. Really, really helped me feel a lot more regenerated, which is very nice. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now than how I was,
Yeah,
our last book club, which is crazy. 'Cause
right.
it's like only been a week because it feels like a month for me with all the stuff that's been going on. But
I mean, you at least get the holidays off, right? You get Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, like you're.
yeah, we just did Christmas Day off, so I actually do have to go work tomorrow.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Friday too.
yeah, Friday too. Well, actually, I have Friday off. I took Friday off.
Okay,
We
okay.
get
Yeah,
we get Christmas Eve and Christmas off. That's gonna be the most useless Friday
yeah, I'm
ever.
sure.
I'm pretty sure only one guy is gonna be in the office for the entire day. That's
Yeah, I mean, like,
Damn.
dude, like, what's the
like, yeah,
whole?
why even
Yeah,
come in?
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, that's why they give us like if Christmas or New Year's or Thanksgiving, well, obviously Thanksgiving always falls on a Thursday. They always give us that Friday off because it's
Yeah,
like,
because why
why
come
come
in
in?
for one day? Yeah,
right.
might as well just give it's a one day off and everybody else is just so much happier.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
one's gonna
but
feel motivated either. That's Friday.
what
No.
they do though is they'll pay us like the holiday day, but then they won't pay us for that day after.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
That kind of makes sense.
Nah, yeah,
yeah, it's like
that
it's a
makes
free
sense.
day off. You guys, if you want to use your banked hours or use a PTO day or whatever, you can use it, but we're not paying
But
you
we're not
for
gonna
that.
make you come in.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, so but
nice.
you could still come in if you wanted to.
You could ask, but no one's going to be dispatching.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because they're all gone. They're
Yeah,
not
so
gonna be
you're not
working.
doing it.
Right. Yeah.
That's funny. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that little introductions to everything. Let's get into it. The philosophy of Socrates.
The problem
Um,
That's
is
what we
what
got.
the
Mike
prop.
says.
My
The
bad.
problem of
My
Socrates.
bad. Thank you for the
Did
assist.
you
Oh,
say
oh,
the
wait, wait,
problem
wait, wait,
too?
wait, 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 wait. Our book is typed in Times New Roman.
Yeah. Yeah. How's y'all books looking?
Well, ours is looking like a smaller font, but before we talk about this new Roman, let's talk about that old Greek.
Oh, what an
Ah!
alley-oop! What an
Guys, I
alley-oop!
can't.
Oh,
Guys, I can't. I can't.
That
I
was
can't.
totally
You're
unrehearsed.
killing, you're
That
killing
was,
me, Seth.
that was
Organic joke.
unrehearsed. That was right off the dome,
Never
as
been
some might
said
say.
before.
No,
No,
I
kill
can
me,
feel it
Seth.
in the pit of my stomach.
thought of
I
just
want to
now.
throw up.
God, please tell me about the problems of
It's a good thing
Socrates.
it's Christmas time, bro, because this is already going great. Oh my
Oh,
goodness,
I didn't expect the dogging on the Socrates. I especially didn't expect him to be called ugly. Was he an ugly fellow?
dude,
Was
that
he
sounds
actually
like it.
ugly?
I think he
Can
was
any of our
actually.
historians out here,
Seth,
Connor?
aren't you a Google person? You like
Oh, I'm the Google person
haven't
now.
you already gotten that like role right?
Let's
I think
ask
you
Connor
have.
first while I Google it.
He wasn't known to be a looker, I'll say that.
But was he
He
like
was bald,
cross? Was
so
he
that's
was he
already
crossbreeding ugly? Because that's what this said.
Hold up. Here we go, guys. Top 3 was Socrates. Was Socrates executed? Was Socrates a real person? Was Socrates gay?
Oh,
oh
So nobody's asking if
question
he's
that third
ugly.
one
I
surprised
like at
me.
the very bottom, was Socrates Greek? That's still up in the air, I guess.
questions
I
that
guess
Sounds.
we
plague
aren't sure.
humanity.
I'm honestly kind of glad they dogged on Socrates because I've
No,
always
yeah, me
kind of
too.
hated Socratesian philosophy. It's the most
Oh,
annoying form of philosophy, in
okay.
my opinion.
Wait, no, because
The only part I
I
like of
wouldn't
Socrates is
mind.
the
I
questions.
wouldn't mind a little intro to Socrates because I wouldn't say I've ever. I've listened to things about his philosophy, but those were a while back, so I can't say that I truly know the main points that drive his philosophy. If
Okay,
anyone could enlighten me,
you want you want an example?
sure, we'll take an example. Use it in a sentence.
Okay, so I'll give you an illustration. All right, Socrates walks up to you and he's like, "What is a horse?" And then you're like, "It's an animal." So he's like, "So then is an elephant a horse?" And he's like, and then you're like, "No, an elephant's not a horse, dude. A horse has like 4 legs and a mane." And he's like, "Oh, so then a lion's a horse." And it just keeps on going on and on and on.
Yeah, the whole Socratesian philosophy is basically rather than answering a question, you keep on asking the other person questions until you arrive at the truth. But then you never arrive at the truth because like you're limited between this other person's knowledge on such things.
Yes,
And the way
and
they
that
describe things. Like it's like yeah.
and
So
that's
he's
like the
like
whole. Sorry,
he's
go
the
ahead.
actually of philosophers.
Yeah.
That's a great way to
But
put it.
like I don't know. Part of the thing too is like there's like a little bit of mystery behind Socrates because a lot of what we know about Socrates is like I think mostly from Plato. And there's like this whole debate that, well, is this Socrates that Plato wrote about actually Socrates, or is it just Plato's like character of Socrates?
That is
And
a fair point too.
yeah, and like the thing with Seth, like when you looked up and it was like, is Socrates a real person? That's like an actual kind of debate because of this idea.
Oh, what?
Yeah, no, it's like an actual thing. Like, is Socrates like an actual person? Um, it's most likely, I think most likely that he is because like there's like historical records of him like being killed in Athens and stuff. But like it really mostly stems from this idea of Plato's recounts of Socrates, as in like, well, are these actually, was this real? Was this actually Socrates?
So did he
Um,
not make his own writings? Like, is everything about him just secondhand, like words from other philosophers?
yeah, most of the stuff we know about Socrates is like secondhand from other
This is an
philosophers.
Whoa.
important note too. Greeks considered writing to be a lesser form of communication. So a lot of their whole thing was oratory, so like a lot of
Mm,
these different things were not necessarily not written down, like they would still write and shit, but it the superior form of passing down knowledge was through talking. Um,
okay.
and I mean, even the way they wrote too, I forget what the type of writing's called, but you would write one line this way and then you'd write it backwards that way.
Whoa.
Because as you're reading a page, it makes more, I say page, but as you're reading, it makes more sense to like your eyes follow kind of like a
Yeah.
snake pattern. You know what I mean?
That's
Rather
kind
than
of
going boop,
interesting.
boop, boop kind of thing, you go, ooh.
Yeah,
Because now I'm seeing like the evolution from that to Latin, which is very similar but it doesn't do the snake, but there's no punctuation or spaces, much like there probably was in Greek. because you were
Mm,
meant to just read it.
right.
You just read the letters and made the sounds, and everybody knew what you were saying.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
So I guess what their evolution was the snake pattern. They got rid of that. They're like, nah, it only goes left or right.
Right. Yeah, we're
They
gonna we're
stole
gonna make them take
everything
extra
else.
time to read again.
Yep.
Huh.
They stole
Yeah.
everything else but the alphabet and
Yeah.
and the writing form.
And
Yeah,
the
the
yep.
important stuff.
They made one innovation and called it their own.
That's
Yeah.
Romans.
But it's
Love it.
I mean the part that I think matters the most within this context is Socrates' historical context, which was he was I think he was in the military, and I think he was also somewhat in the political sphere of Athens, but he was casted out due to his teachings. Um, and then he came back for trial, and then they decided to like basically kill him. From what I remember, I don't think that's like a perfect account, but like,
It's roughly that, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I think he was like killed for corrupting the youth or something like that.
yeah. So, so basically, that's something important to know is like Athens in a way betrayed him in a sense. Um, and so his life ended in a pretty crappy way.
Did the Athens betray him, or did he cause the Athens to poison him himself? I mean, that's something that was talked about here, which I'm curious to go more into. I don't know if y'all. What page was it on? Let's see if I can find it real fast. It's actually real close to the end.
I love
Athens did not give him the poison cup. He gave it to himself. He compelled Athens to give it to him. Um,
Hmm.
very pretty
It's
much
an
the very
interesting
last
take.
paragraph, and I guess we can think more about why that is as we delve more into who Socrates was and Nietzsche's um, problem with Socrates, I guess.
Yeah,
The irony of Socrates.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear an 1800 German perspective on an ancient Greek philosopher. But
1800s for real?
by the way, Howie, I sent a little picture of a little Socrates bust, so you guys can decide whether or not he was ugly. I think he fairly falls in the camp of not being attractive, that's for sure. Um, but
Oh,
it could be
oh,
up to debate.
I
It's
yeah,
not
mean,
the
that
best
could save
look.
the after the debate.
Well,
We'll
the
leave that
funniest
for the
thing of
audience to decide.
yeah, you got to let them know because something that I think is interesting about this is like a bust that was probably paid for and commissioned, and they spent time on it, and they probably made him look hotter than he actually was, as you probably do in
That's
most
probably
artistic
true.
renditions of people at the time. So if that's all that the guy could come up with to make him look more attractive, it could have been dire. It could have been a bad situation
Yeah.
for old
huh?
Socrates.
Speaking of depictions of Socrates, have you guys ever seen the painting The Death of Socrates?
No,
Uh, is that like a cursed one where he's? I might be thinking something else actually.
Google man, googling.
I
The
I
death of
love this
Socrates.
this painting because like people say like the artist was trying to depict people being like sad at the death of Socrates and all that stuff. Like he's like sitting there taking the poison cup with his finger up in the air and all that stuff, right?
Mm.
But then other people like the guy that's has his face against the wall, they're like, no, he's actually back there like banging his head against the wall, saying, "Shut up, just stop talking." And then the guy like crying into his toga right there is like, oh my God, please just take it. Like,
Yeah, he actually can't.
That's funny, actually.
The reason the guy who's handing the poison cup is turning around is because he's so ugly he can't even look at his face.
It's like, just take the cup from me, man. I don't want to be here anymore.
like a Medusa kind of action. He's like, if I look at him, I'll turn to stone like
Yeah,
that bust of him.
I put the death of Socrates in there for your own perusal as well. But enough about him in the
Yeah,
past.
yeah,
Yeah, guys,
sorry.
let's talk about the decadence. Huh?
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
Fantastic. I was right.
Well, I mean, it's basically a lot of these. The main idea here, I think, the takeaway is that these like idealized philosophers, right, are being talked about by Nietzsche as haters of life in a sense, you know, which which I think that is what Nietzsche declares as a decadent, and what Nietzsche is very highly against, the declining types. But is it fair for these people to be hating on life? And, you know, why is that so wrong in the sense? Like, obviously, we had the myth of Sisyphus decide that, we should live, we should not have this anger or avoidance of life, but rather embrace it. But it didn't really tell us too much about, like, why that was the case. He did kind of just tell us, despite all this, you should go do your stuff despite all this. He didn't really say, like, I don't know. I didn't really get a whole lot of, like, why that should be the case, other than just the fact that, like, it can be that you should, because it's good, or I don't know. I don't really remember that, actually. And, like, give
Yeah,
me the whole reason.
I'm kind of with you. I mean, I feel like, you know, Myth of Sisyphus was kind of about the fact that life does suck, but in a weird way, it sucking is actually why you should be happy. Like it's like the thing that you should enjoy about it.
Yeah.
Um, and Marcus, or Aurelius was in a similar boat, where it's kind of like things are tough, but that's where you should find your joy in overcoming those things and staying strong despite the parts of life that are tough. I find that the only the people we've read that are willing to put forth the idea that life might be like a cool thing and a good thing are the more mystical of our books. I don't know if I would say the Tao Te Ching like goes out of its way to go life is amazing, but it definitely doesn't posit that life sucks. We might just not understand it.
I
Um,
kind
Yeah.
of got that it should just be simplified from the Tao Te Ching.
yeah, where I think maybe the Christian point of view, the screw tape letters is kind of the only one that was like, actually life can be amazing, and that's why the demons are sent to torment, to take you away from the good parts, the enjoyable parts of life. But but what I'm trying to say is I think Nietzsche has a point here. I think a lot of philosophers they come to the conclusion that life is misery, and they just want to figure out a way to like work their way around that, instead of coming up with the conclusion that there are good and enjoyable aspects to the existence we've been placed in.
Yeah, there's kind of two things that I thought about. I guess in regards to how he says too, like, these wisest men. Um, One of my things I was wondering, and this isn't really it's more of a comment more than a talking point, but just the idea that, kind of like what you said, Seth, like how a lot of these, like, appears to be very common that scholars or philosophers, etc., tend to have a damp view on life. And, one thing I was wondering is, like, maybe that is because it almost feels more correct, smart, because it almost feels more realistic to have a negative view on life. Like, well, yeah, it's a truth. Like this truth, whatever it is, has to be negative, and so we should just have a negative view on life. Um, and I thought it was very interesting how he explained it as, like, almost a different direction of, like, well, it was more so that just the disposition of their life almost forced them to have a negative view on life. To kind of read at the top of page 40 for us, bottom, like, paragraph two. It proves rather that they themselves, these wisest men, were in some way in a physiological accord, since they had to stand in the same negative relation to life. Judgments, value judgments concerning life, for or against, can in the last resort never be true. They possess value only as symptoms. They come into consideration only as symptoms. In themselves, such judgments are stupidities. One must reach out and try to grasp this astonishing finesse, that the value of life cannot be estimated, not by a living man because he is a party to the dispute, indeed its object, and not the judge of it, not by a dead one for another reason. I thought this was super interesting because it literally, basically, in a sense, disputes every philosopher's opinion on life, right? Because it's like, well, you know, of course you're gonna have this opinion. Your life went this way, or your life went this other way. Like Socrates, being betrayed in a sense by Athens, sentenced to death. Of course he's gonna hate his life. Are you kidding me? Of course he's got a negative viewpoint on it. And it was a very interesting point that I never really thought about, where like it's almost like you can see how a person's life went based off their opinions of it. And in that sense, it makes me think of almost like the Myth of Sisyphus, why there was no real answer as to why life, like why you should have this positive outlook on life even though it's negative, because in a sense it would have kind of been a biased opinion. you know like there is no real answer, and I don't know, it's really interesting to me when I read this. It kind of changed my viewpoint on a lot of things.
Hmm. That's something that I also highlighted. Um, that last little bit, the worth of life cannot be judged by a living being as it's the object of life. And no, I mean, you're pretty right. It disputes every other philosopher's opinion. Because at the end of the day, it's crazy to think that that's kind of what philosophy is, isn't it? An opinion of how life should be lived, of how what life is
Yeah,
from another
how you
human
should think about
being.
it.
Yeah.
So I guess the question becomes: do you agree? Do you think that you can't judge something's worth if you are the prime dispute? Do you think that you are incapable of determining the worth of your own life?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can't judge, but know that that judgment is heavily biased.
Hmm.
I think it's kind
And
of
I
like you
think that
shouldn't judge.
you shouldn't judge.
So you should just let other people tell you what your life is worth, since
No,
they're
it's
not.
not that. It's that because that's like basically mean that you do care about the judgment of life, just not your own.
Oh, wait, are you kind of saying like you shouldn't deem it whether it's worthy or not worthy? Because I mean, at the end of the day, you you're a living being, so who are you to deem whether life is worth living or not?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like, who are you to decide if like life is good or not? It's life. It doesn't care about like you're the object of it. But you also shouldn't like think that other people are right about their judgments of life. You should know that they're also biased. No one's right. Like, I mean, a little bit below it says, for a philosopher to see a problem in the value of life, thus even constitutes an objection to him, a question mark as to his wisdom, a piece of unwisdom. That's like saying basically that for you to even like think about this question is like pointless, that you shouldn't be thinking about this. And the fact that you're thinking about it in a serious manner, thinking that you can actually come to the answer to this question, is unwise, because you should be smart enough to know that you can't, that you're biased in a sense. That, like you should realize that you can't actually come to an objective conclusion on the value of
Would
life.
y'all say that that take from Nietzsche spits in the face of absurdity?
I
I
was going to use those exact words.
I personally think, in a way, it kind of validates it.
Oh, okay. I'd love to hear more about that.
Because in my mind, absurdity is like, yeah, life has no meaning, and again, you are kind of placing
Oh,
like that it has no meaning, but at the same time, it's like, even though life has no meaning, you give life its meaning by an absurd action, right? So it kind of is like counteracting it. You know what I mean? Does that make
yeah.
sense?
No, it makes a ton of sense. Like absurdism is like the epitome of who are you to judge the worth of my life.
Right, right.
But instead of turning it as like you shouldn't judge the only worth of your life, its conclusion is you can ascribe any worth to your life that you want. and no one can tell you that you're wrong because nobody knows what your life is worth. You don't even know what your life is worth.
See, I'm so glad you're so good with words because that is exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
It's like there's like they both agree that there's no objective value to life,
Mhm.
and it's like no meaning. But absurdism is like, okay, now that we know this, and that you shouldn't even be thinking about this anymore, you now have the opportunity to, despite this fact, find it out yourself, like, do what you want to do to an absurd extent. You know?
Mhm. Which I don't know. I feel like Nietzsche's kind of heading in that direction with his kind of oh man, I'm gonna struggle to find where he talks about this, but he kind of talks about that idea of like how philosophers tell you to throw away your senses, like to get rid of the idea of what you see and what you feel, and to throw away that idea as like truth. Um, where in
Functionality at any
reality,
price.
yeah, where in reality, like that is reality. That's the strongest version of reality, what you see, feel, and experience.
Yeah.
Um,
That's his big
Whoever
thing is
starts
like,
talking about that is
people gotta be
11,
more
in
on.
case.
11. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it is self deception on the part of philosophers and moralists to think of rising above decadence by waging war with it. Rising above it is beyond their power. What they select as an expedient, as a deliverance, is itself only an expression of decadence. They alter its expression, they do not do away with it itself. So it's like they are telling themselves that they are rising above the senses, the experience, the things that they feel because it's not real. But in reality, they're just creating another version of that reality. They think they're rising above it, but they're still a part of it, just a different version of it that they've created for themselves.
Less
Yeah.
of rising above and more of turning a blind eye.
Yeah. It,
Disregarding.
like it says to combat the instincts. That is the formula for decadence. As long as life ascends, happiness is identical with instinct.
Yeah, such a bar.
Yeah, I like that one.
The idea of happiness and instinct are one.
Yeah.
It's like you reach the ascension, right? You're past the decay.
Which I think some people would look at that and say that he's like proposing a life where you just go with your every single instinct and you just listen to your most base desires. Maybe that is what he's saying. But I kind of chose to interpret it as, or at least it seems to me, because he says to have to combat the instincts. Maybe if your mindset is, your mind is in such a way where your instincts are things that lead you to, I don't know,
Your
like,
own personal happiness.
yeah, like true, like it kind of goes back to what we talked about last time with virtue, where it's
Hmm.
like pretending to have it and then getting mad at people who don't is way better than the people who just exhibit it naturally, just by like what they naturally want.
You guys remember the Marcus Aurelius quote where it was like, be in a state of mind to where at any point if one asks you what you are thinking of, they will not be like shocked or like disgusted with your answer.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like a lot like this, where it's like when he says like getting to like ascension, right? Is like you have gotten past the point of like your base instincts, like your negative poor instincts, which could do harm to others, and they are now like now your first instinct is to do kindness or good
Mhm.
or like a good thing, something like that, where it's kind of like you've replaced them, you've ascended in a sense, and now you you don't have to combat your instincts. They are aligned with your happiness because like the negative instincts, right, could like land you in jail. Like that's like, you're not going to be. That's not happiness. But like to replace them with the good instincts, now your happiness and instincts are one, which is
Fire.
I
hard,
mean,
I think.
I think that heavily ties perfectly into this chapter, not only because not only, but mainly because there was a point where he talked about Socrates becoming a master of himself.
Yes, there was
I don't remember where exactly it was, but it was a pretty, I'd say a pretty crucial part to kind of closing off his whole idea of Socrates. I think it was
to kind of lay you up real quick, David, while you find that. Um, like the kind of at the bottom of paragraph 3, it says, "A foreigner passing through Athens, who knew how to read faces, told Socrates to his face that he was a monstrum, a monster in face, a monster in soul. That he contained within him every kind of foul vice and lust. And Socrates answered merely, 'You know me, sir.'" So like Socrates himself is a man that he's like a little decadent.
Just a little.
when the man, I guys, this word I'm gonna have trouble with. Physiognomist?
Oh, hold up. Can you
Wait, where
tell
is this?
which one is
Chapter
this in,
9.
David?
What
Chapter
paragraph is
9.
this?
Physio. I said physiognomist, like a gnome.
Physiognomist. See,
I
okay,
don't
it's
know if
written that
that's
way,
it.
so we'll go with that. Physiognomist. Whatever. Had disclosed to Socrates who he was, a cave of all evil passions. The great ironist uttered another word which gives the key to him. It is true, he said, but I became master over them all. How did Socrates become a master over himself? His case was after all, only the extreme case. The most striking case of that then began to be the universal trouble. Um, I think that heavily ties perfectly into what you were saying, Howie. Becoming a master over yourself, a master over all those evil instincts, uh, and substituting them with something that's good that you can instinctually follow without worry of doing harm. Although, I guess I don't say it throws a wrench into it, but what does kind of confuse me is, well, actually, no. No, no, no. Never mind. It doesn't confuse me. What I
Oh,
was
Well, do you
gonna
want
say
you
is,
want to say it? Yeah, in case
yeah, what I was
anyone else is
going to say
confused.
though, what I was going to say was he doesn't really say that he has gotten rid of them, only that he's mastered them, so they're still living within him, those primal instincts, those negative primal instincts, I guess.
yeah.
But I think
Well,
go for it.
what's like the sentence before that, before where you started, which I also underlined exactly what you underlined, David, but said, "The impulses are about to play the tyrant. We must invent a counter tyrant stronger than they." So he
Mm.
doesn't he's not saying we should get rid, he's just saying we need to invent a power stronger than our impulses. He's still letting them exist within himself.
Well,
I do. Oh, go for
no,
it. Go
wait.
for it. I
Like
was
I
gonna
was,
have a question over the time of this Athens and kind of the society that they were living in. That was this gonna be a question on that, but
Well, did anyone look up what a physiognomist is?
It's a
no,
physician gnome.
Hunter with the
it
expert witness always.
it's it's a group of people that believe they can tell, like, the path of your life and like the aspects of your being and your personality just by your looks.
I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, and of
Yeah, I
course
don't
they
think that's
told
true.
Socrates he was a monster because he was apparently ugly as fuck.
This poor
A
guy,
little
man.
bias there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Poor guy.
What was your question though, David?
So I wrote down kind of questions, and it was like during this time that they're describing during the Athens, were people in turmoil? Were people starting to, I guess, for lack of a better term,
Hmm.
crash out, or
This was during
were
the
they
30
heading more
Tyrants,
towards
right, Connor?
anarchy or to impulses? What was the society of Athens like?
Well, I think they just got dominated by Sparta, from what I remember.
Okay.
Is this Peloponnese era?
So from what I remember is that they just got dominated by Sparta, who, the Spartans and the Athens are pretty
Hmm.
dissimilar. In the case of the Spartans were like, warrior society, and Athens was more like liberal in a sense. And so they're pretty dissimilar in that. So when Sparta came in and just took over basically, they also implemented oligarch, which is just like they had what we called the 30 tyrants from what I remember, and placed them
Hmm.
over Athens as like the rulers in a sense. But that also like there's like whole like people were not a fan, so they were trying to fight against that. So there's quite a bit of turmoil. I think this was around the time when Socrates got uh when Socrates' death was. I think Socrates' death happened after the oligarchs were thrown out. But yeah, no, there's a bit of turmoil from what I remember. I'll let Connor uh confirm for me. So
Yeah, Peloponnesian War was from 431 BC to 404 BC. Socrates died apparently around 399. So,
Okay, so right after.
yeah, right after. Not sure whenever the oligarchs got throughout, but um, it is an interesting time period to be
having a
basically
negative
preaching.
viewpoint.
Yeah, a negative viewpoint on life. It's like, dude, shut up. Everybody hates life right now.
We get it.
We
We get
fucking get it,
it.
dude. It
Someone tell this
sucks.
guy to stop talking, please.
Okay, so then that moves further into my that moves another question along in my brain and talking specifically about dialects and how Nietzsche described dialects in this chapter. It's quite interesting to me. It was not something that I had truly thought of or
Yeah.
considered.
Well, one thing I really liked about dialectics was like at the end of chapter 7 it says one must have to enforce one's rights, otherwise one makes no use of it. And you know, I think people I think it's like especially shown in like movies and stuff too, where like someone tries to give like a logical argument to their point and no one like really listens to them in a sense. Or like,
Yeah.
bro, this freaking nerd, get out of here, nerd. You know? Where it's almost like you have to actually do something to show some power in a sense or reliability to make people actually listen to you. So at a certain point, dialectics, just um trying to force your side through reasoning and argument, it does get to a point where because people are emotional creatures, right? Where people are just like, bro, shut up, dude. I don't care anymore. Just like,
You're stupid.
yeah, like,
You're a buffoon.
yeah, like
Yeah,
stop
you're
talking.
you're kind of expected to show results and then people listen to you rather than people listen to you for your idea that will produce results.
Yeah.
Like like what you said with like taking a stance of power. There's a point where it's almost like, quit your yapping and do something. Like which is unfortunate when your idea requires the cooperation of everyone involved.
Hmm.
That's you don't really have a choice there. But
Right.
Short end of the stick there.
yeah, a little bit. But it kind of shows like I mean, I think a little bit of it is just like innate human like, you gravitate towards people who have proven history that you can back up and go like this person's ideas tend to work. Um
And it's like you talk too much, man.
yeah.
Do something.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, is that a bad thing? Is that something we commonly see today? And if so, is it does it cause bad results or good results? Do y'all think today?
I would say overall, right? No, it depends situation right now. I'd say overall it is a bad thing, and I do think that we experience it in today's society, but for obviously different reasons.
What do you mean different
I don't
reasons?
know.
I say different reasons because, I mean, in the age of technology and an immense amount of information, there's too many people that voice their own opinions that almost it's almost absurd to try to reason with somebody nowadays, with anyone logically. I mean, you can find people to reason with, of course, but more often than not, with an average person, I don't think there's just too many opinions out nowadays that it's like it kind of goes back to like, all right, show it, stop talking.
Yeah. There's I'm stealing, I hate to do this, but I'm stealing from a Northern Lion bit. It's not even like a actual philosophical idea, but I think it applies really well to this discussion. This bit was like the concept that there's thinkers and doers. And in the past, you had like a roughly equal amount of each. And so the thinkers would do their thing. They'd sit at home all day and they'd think, which is like, your Socrates. And then the doers would come in and they'd pretty much like do the things that were worth doing that the thinkers came up with. And that's kind of how like progress worked for a while. But now we got too many thinkers, and so the doers don't know what the fuck to do. So now they're doing crazy stuff. Like they've been left to their own devices and are like uncontrollable. But I think it kind of talks about, kind of feeds into what David's talking about. It's like too many people giving their opinion, and not enough people actually activating the good opinions. A lot of thinkers.
Junk out there.
Yeah.
A lot of junk food.
What do
Which
you think,
sucks because I feel like I'm a thinker. I don't want to be a doer, but
It is a little bit
it
easier to
seems
be a thinker, huh?
it's a lot easier to be a thinker.
As we sit in
Uh,
our in our comfy chairs in this book club.
just thinking,
Yeah.
like, but I don't know. It goes back to was it Marcus Aurelius? It's like you can only philosophize for so long. At some point, you gotta actually do it.
Are you gonna be a shepherd? Or are you gonna be a part of the herd, part of the
Yeah.
mob?
You're a deserter and
So
just think
maybe,
and like don't even try to be
yeah.
part of anything.
A lot of deserters nowadays too. I feel like deserter numbers have been rising
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. Maybe it's time to come in to become a doer, and a doer that listens to thinkers. I think that's the important thing.
I think it's important to be equal parts both,
Oh,
thinker
look at
and doer.
this
Yeah.
Taking the
nuance.
middle road, like always. I'm just messing. I'm just kidding. I jest.
You know me. You know me. No, because I think like personally, I'm like 50% doer, 50% thinker. I
Mhm.
think about a lot of stuff, and then I'm like, I don't really feel like acting on it. Like I would love for this to go this way, but do I actually want to do that? Nah, that's like a lot of work. But then other times I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do this.
Well, I think
Yeah.
part of it too
I'll
is
drive
like
the bricks.
I think part of it too is now that we're able to do some more individualistic stuff. I think we have the opportunity to be a thinker and a doer, especially with the tools we have now. Whereas back
Mhm.
then, like you needed to be in a community and a collective to get things done. Like
Mhm.
Mm,
that was like the only real way to survive was having a collective community. And like so, in a sense, you needed people to, in order to get things done efficiently, you need people to spend their time thinking and other people to spend their time doing so that way things can get done. Whereas now we have the opportunity to both think and do, you know?
Ooh, I
yeah.
feel like that is what also breeds more deserters in today's society, or what could lead to more deserters, because you have it's easier to now be a individualistic
Oh
thinker and
yeah,
doer.
because
Yeah.
that's a good point. Because that kind of leads into what we were talking about by being like the exception, like the exceptionalism. If you're both, why do you need these people? You know?
Yeah.
Mm. I do agree. I
Egalitarian
think
thought.
that like it's a little bit easier to like do stuff on your own. No.
So because look, we were also talking about human empathy is spread so thin nowadays. It's a very it's super it's dumb easy. It's dumb
Yeah.
easy to have a pessimistic outview on life.
Okay, so and that's kind of my question now. We've talked a lot about like the cutting the corn stalks and letting people be exceptional on their own. But how do we feel about the concept of that idea of rubbing up against this idea that, maybe we should collaborate? Maybe there's some value to having at least one other human brain to look at your work and decide whether it's worth doing or not. Can those work? Can those ideas work together?
I think they can. I
I
think it's good to have a little dispute and a little conflict
I'll give
because
an example. I'll give one quick example because I've been watching a documentary about the early creation of the internet. It starts with the telegraph, and that starts with Morse code, which was invented by Samuel Morse. But if you actually look into it, Morse didn't do shit. He didn't do anything. Like his co-founder, who he calls his assistant Alfred Vail, pretty much invented the main, like, Morse invented like parts of what became the telegraph. Like his main innovation was creating a system that would actually write down the inputs that came from a telegraph before you would either have to see or hear them, and once they were gone, they were gone. But Vail probably came up with the ingenious Morse code, which, made sure that letters that were more oftenly used fewer signals to kind of make it very easy to use. And in a weird way, we probably wouldn't have the thing we're using right now to host and post this podcast without those two guys coming together and making something, right? We
Two
needed both of
exceptionals.
their excellence combined, right?
I agree. I think that you should definitely have a little bit of a collective, like some group of people to bounce ideas off one another, um, drive at a better conclusion. Because and just like that's an extra person coming up with ideas that you might not have thought of. And you are also there to come up with ideas that they might not have thought of. And by using both of them, you can have like an even better product. I'm not saying people should be individualistic. I'm just kind of saying that the opportunity to be individualistic is like a lot more out there. You know, I don't think you should be like by yourself. It
Mm-mm.
You shouldn't be.
Uh, Opinions of others are too valuable. Like, I know I talk about work a lot, but I'll say, like, where I go quote something, I might see a 6. Another tech might see a 9. And we're both right, because if I flip this around, that could be a 9. And if you flipped his around, that could be a 6. But having that other person look over your work or have a shared opinion or whatnot, I always feel like I do a better job whenever I have someone else with me, because just their experience, their opinions play a huge role.
That's everything experience. Is like you have someone from a different background who can have a completely different outlook and viewpoint, different perspective on things, which can bring in a whole new set of original ideas. I mean, things
So,
aren't.
except
Sorry,
you finish.
I'll just say real quick. Like, things aren't innovated by using the same ideas. Things are innovated by using new original ideas, right? And sometimes someone can have a new original idea that isn't fully fresh, like fleshed out, and someone else can also have the same original idea that's pretty similar. And then by using them both together, you can create this new thing.
So
So they can work
exceptionalism,
together and they
yeah.
should work together, but society in today's day, more often
And
than
we
not, at least I feel like American society here in the US, because that's all I really know. I don't even know the vast majority of American society, but we are in a very tribalistic era.
Well, I feel like we like to preach the idea of the self-made man.
Hmm.
I did it myself. Nobody helped me. I
Pulled
came up
myself
with
up
all
from my
these ideas
bootstraps.
by my bootstrap, myself. Nobody else was involved in this. And I feel like there are very, very few, if any, instances where that statement is ever true. There's always somebody there. They might have not gotten any credit. You might not be mentioning them, but somebody along the line came and helped you and got you to where you are right now. Like, in a weird way,
It
except
doesn't make for as interesting of a story.
it doesn't. It's not as fun. I'll admit that. It's a lot harder to follow when there's more than one character, that's for sure. But I think it all goes to say that exceptionalism doesn't necessarily mean individualism. In fact, it almost argues against it, if you would say. It's almost like in order to reach your true potential, you need other people to kind of bring the complement to what you're trying to achieve.
An exceptional person would understand that and wouldn't become a deserter. No,
Skadoosh.
Wouldn't you
I agree.
agree?
I agree. It's
I
Yeah.
guess it's like a big difference between like the deserter and the leader, because both are blazing their own path, but one is deciding to bring everybody else with them.
Yeah.
the other thing too is like now you have more people who can get more done too. Like I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right, we've solved the American economy and society at large. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, everyone's stop being so
Round of
prideful, all
applause.
right?
Round of applause.
Finally,
Everyone's so
yep,
prideful.
yep,
Dash.
clap it up for everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm reading a news article. World peace, guys. Good job.
We did
Wow.
it. We did it, guys.
By Boog Club.
Our book club. I knew this was gonna be due. I knew this was gonna be worth something someday.
Spreading our ideas.
Yeah, the new world government's going to be called the Boog bureaucracy.
The
We're coining it
boogocracy.
right now. The Boogocracy.
The
I like
Boogocracy.
that. I like
Boogocracy.
that.
The Boogocracy. That's what we call our fans.
The boogs. The boogocracy. Oh, we are the
The
boogocracy.
Boogocracy. Yeah, the Boogocracy.
We're the boogocracy. I actually like that.
The Boogagarks. No,
The
that doesn't sound
Boogagarks.
as good.
The boogocrats.
Boogocracy.
Starting to-
Boogocrat. No, I don't like that. That's a little charged.
we can work out the kinks. We'll work out the kinks.
You can be a Boogocrat or a Boogublican. Okay, we'll love you all the same.
Yeah. All boogs are welcome.
Oh man, we got a little far away from the dialectics.
Yeah, we deviated a bit.
Yeah.
Start
Does
talking
anyone
about
else
these
want to
old
talk about it?
Greeks again.
I have something I want to talk about, which is like the last part I have out of this. But if anyone else wants to talk about like the dialectics some more or anything else they want to discuss, by all means.
Maybe we can circle back to it.
Yeah, my
Or
one
go
last
for it.
point on the dialectics was this line where he says, "Honest things like honest men do not carry their reasons in their hands in such fashion.
Yes.
It is indecent to put forth all the five fingers. That which requires to be proved is of little worth."
I like that part too.
I underlined it, and that is such a interesting position to take. Not one that I personally fully agree with. I don't think very many people would anymore.
Well, it follows it up with saying, where one does not demonstrate but commands.
Which you kind of talked
One
about.
doesn't come to the fold and go, "This is why we should do what we're doing." They just go, "This is what we're doing. And it's smart. And you don't need to ask me why. It's going to work."
I mean, there's
recipe
some
for disaster.
Well, there's some benefit not revealing all your plans. Not letting that knowledge
Yes.
escape and get out.
And there's
Someone
some
coming and
benefit in
taking it.
not taking the time to dissect every single decision you make.
To be divisive. It's like you're a military commander leading your troops. Are you gonna explain the orders you're giving them? No, you're just gonna give the orders and then they're just gonna do it. It's
Yeah,
effective.
you're going to spend 3 precious hours describing why your plan is going to work to every single soldier on the field.
You might do to your little corps, like your commanders group, but not every troop.
Yeah.
You're just gonna rally them up.
But-
You're gonna rally those boys up. You're gonna be like, "Hey, we're gonna go win this right now."
Yeah, you're just gonna get them like incensed and like emotionally invested in the
You got
fact
Splink
that this
left.
is a good
You got
idea.
Splink right. We're gonna shoot down the middle. And
We're gonna
crush
whoop them. We're gonna whoop them.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I don't like it, guys. It makes me think too. Makes me think too much of the rise of Nazis and just following orders and taking
Yeah,
commands.
yeah. Well, this guy was an 18th, 17th century German.
Well, I mean, it is like I mean that just military commanders in general. Like, that's just throughout all time.
It is. It just
One of
is.
them was just really bad.
War isn't pretty in
Just
general,
one
is
of them.
it?
Only one.
One very specific one was very, very, very bad.
What was notoriously bad?
Yeah, like it was like the worst of the worst.
Special place in hell for that one.
I
Yeah.
get what you're saying, though, David. I think I'm also inherently nervous at the concept of somebody who just leaves with no explanation. But I think I've also realized that there are these quick time event moments in life where there is no time to explain and you must just act. And I think that I don't think this passage is necessarily advocating for that. I mean, it probably is, but it's more about talking about how ridiculous you can sound when you take the time to explain in moments of action.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, I get it. Like, let's say a fire started right now, and I was like, all right, you get a fire extinguisher, you get a water bucket, so on and so forth. And then one of you guys was like, well, why should I get the fire extinguisher? What will that accomplish? It's
What
like,
does a fire extinguisher really do?
yeah. How is that going
What
to stop
is
the
a fire
fire?
extinguisher?
what even is in it? Wait, should I get a type 1, type 2?
That does matter, actually. That's actually
That would
really
be a
important.
that is a good question, actually. I'll take that one back.
Yeah.
No, but I
But,
mean, yeah, I guess it depends. Certain scenarios, it's good to just kind of
Yeah.
follow leaders, lead others. Because, like, I agree with David too. Like, I don't think that just because something is stated, it should be followed, you know, without thinking, you know.
I mean, especially nowadays. Wait, hold on. I keep kind of
Oh,
bringing it to a modern sense, but especially nowadays with the rise of so much fake media that you almost have to constantly question whether you're watching something that's really real or not.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, the side effect is we've now us quote unquote reasonable people who are trying to be reasonable have buried ourselves into a hole where I have to spend 2 hours thinking about any information I receive. It's so exhausting.
Well,
It's
that is a
come
really good
on.
point, David, because obviously during this time, it's not like information was just being blasted in their face, all the
Yeah.
time. Whereas now it's like information being blasted in our face all the time. And so we're like literally unable to just be taking things at face value. Like it's impossible to actually should like you should not do that. No one should ever
I
do that
mean,
right now.
yeah, pictures used to be the absolute truth. I mean, how could you refute a picture? It's literally you're seeing it. And now,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
and now it's all gone down the
Uh-oh.
shitter.
Well, the thing is the truth is that photographs have been able to been faked for a long time, but it required a professional. It required somebody who was a skilled editor. Like back in the day when they were physical photos, that was some intense work. And then Photoshop gets invented, and you still got to be pretty good at Photoshop to make a really convincing edit. And now it's just I type the phrase in the box and it shows up. Zero skill.
yeah, no, dude, my dad will send me videos from Facebook,
Dude.
and it's always like a lifestyle huge change kind of thing. He's like, have you ever tried this or have you ever heard of this? I think I'm gonna try this. I'm like, dude, as soon as you open the video, listen to the guy talking. Is he speaking in perfect cadence? Is he not messing up a single word? That's AI. Look
That's
at
not
his
a real
mouth
guy.
whenever he's talking. It's not a real guy. His mouth is not matching up with the words that he is saying right now. The background with all the lights, none of those lights are flickering. None of those lights are moving. Nothing in the background is moving. This guy is stationary. Only his mouth is moving, and he's speaking in perfect cadence with no mess ups. It's AI, Dad. Don't trust this bullshit. Someone put this
Yeah.
together in like 5 minutes just to get clicks on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Connie, your
That's what's
background's not
crazy.
moving, and I don't see your lights flickering
I
either.
was gonna say
Yeah.
that everything you mentioned
I'm pretty
applies
sure
to
Connor
your
hasn't moved
current.
once this entire
Is
time.
Connor real?
Oh God.
I knew
We've
it.
been duped this whole
I
time,
knew it.
bro. We were the buffoons.
I've been AI the whole time.
But say what you were gonna
These
say, Javi?
anchor haters are going down.
I was just, I was just gonna say that. I mean, that's a good point. That like people literally spread misinformation that could be very dangerous just for clicks, which is kind of crazy. Like when I think about it, like
Mhm.
that's like just like crazy, just for clicks.
To really think about it, yeah. Stealing your life force away,
Just a
i.e. your
number,
time.
though.
Hmm.
Dude, I was doom scrolling, okay, today. I was on YouTube Shorts. I was on there for a little bit
Thank you
too
for
long.
giving it the proper terminology,
Yeah.
the true context.
But I scrolled upon a little AI video of this guy doing like a little uh, bookshelf and bench nook by like a window, like little built-in. And the AI was like, with just spending a few dollars at Home Depot. And as soon as I saw what he was building with, I was like, that's not a few dollars. Has this guy ever been to Home Depot? And I opened up the YouTube comments, very top comment. A few dollars. Have you ever been to Home Depot?
That's so funny.
I was like, see, dude, like all this AI slop, man. Can't stand it.
It's annoying, man. Honestly,
It's
just
only gonna
annoying.
get better, friends. You only have to be more, and then you're gonna eventually
Yeah,
sound like
one
a
day it's not
crazy
going to be
person.
slop,
Yeah, eventually we're gonna be the dialectics
the dialecticians.
dialecticians, because we're gonna be the buffoons questioning. We're gonna look like buffoons questioning everything that you see instead of just taking it for face value.
Yeah,
You're gonna question absolutely all of it, and then you're gonna look crazy.
Dude,
I can't
you
wait.
know what's crazy? Eventually, instead of translated by whoever, translated by AI.
True.
Dang, bro, that won't be the same though.
Yeah,
No.
that's a
Won't be the
terrifying
same.
prospect. Like imagine reading like a philosophy book that's like telling you how to do all of this stuff, and then you read the back. You finish reading the book, you're like, wow, that was really good. Who wrote this or who translated this? It's like translated by ChatGPT. It's like,
I'm
fuck,
going
Well,
dude.
what's
strike,
worse
bro.
is
I'm
that
gonna
it
go on
won't say
strike.
ChatGPT. It'll be like a person's name, and you'll have to just find out that they're not real.
It's a
John
really
Doe.
big,
True.
it's a really big problem happening on Amazon right now. There are a lot of AI
Like
books being sold.
cookbooks. Which cookbooks is hilarious to me because all you gotta do to find out it's not real is like make one recipe. Like you just have to try a single one and it will not work. But yeah,
But
it's
hey, you bought it.
you did. I guess that's the
Oh,
point, right? It's not
yeah.
about whether the recipes are good. It's about spending $0 creating it and at least one person buys your $15 book.
Made profits.
Profit. Yeah.
Pretty sad, honestly.
Yeah.
The
But
world we're living in.
it's
Do
okay,
it
guys.
yourself
There's
would be
plenty of
better.
happiness in life, right? It's not all bad. It's
Yeah,
not
let's go and
all.
read
Don't
more
fall to the
Nietzsche.
deck.
Let's let
Don't fall
Nietzsche.
to the decadence.
Let's let Nietzsche
Don't
make
fall to
us
the
happier.
decadence. The
It's my natural
decay.
instinct.
Half glass full, half glass full.
Keep it in mind, Connor. Keep it in mind. Um,
Past, future, past Connor helps current Connor helps future Connor. Past Connor helps
Come
current.
on, come on, fast Connor.
you're doing great, Pass Connor. Keep it up.
Mm,
Um,
Well,
well,
you said you had one more thing you wanted to talk about, Howie.
yeah, it was paragraph 10. Um, ah, if one needs to make a tyrant of reason, as Socrates did, then there must exist no little danger of something else playing a tyrant. Rationality was at that time divined as a savior. Neither Socrates nor his invalids quotes, were free to be rational or not, as they wish. It was de rigueur. It was their last expedient. The, the fanaticism with which the whole of Greek thought throws itself at rationality betrays a state of emergency. One was in peril. One had only one choice, either to perish or to be absurdly rational. Which, there's two things I got from this. One was, you know, the idea of making like forcing rationality and reason to be a tyrant. You know how like the counter tyrant to the instincts, and how also it seems like what he's saying is during that time because everyone was so fanatic about reason, if you were not also fanatic about reason, everyone would just hate you. You know, it's kind of like interesting about like the idea of, just because the whole majority thinks one thing, if you don't think about it, which is kind of what David was talking about earlier, like if not everyone's like taking things at face value, then everyone's like casting you out and stuff like that. But I thought the idea of like making tyrant the reason, or making reason the tyrant, and from what I remember, Nietzsche saying that's actually not that great of a solution. Um, I thought that was like a little bit more interesting. I thought that was kind of because like one, if like why would reason be a bad tyrant? Two, what would be a better solution for that? Just I think he mentions also like being in control of your instincts, but still,
Yeah, he doesn't really provide like a much better, at least in this part of the book, he doesn't provide a better solution than reason.
right? He just says that's
Kind of just
bad
says
because
it's
you ignore your instincts in a sense.
yeah.
Not in this chapter, but he does go further into it on the reason in philosophy, which I don't know if we want to get into, because I feel like we just won't have enough time to fully digest that one. Because
Yeah.
I did like some good
It's
ideas.
quite deep. It's a big one. It's got a lot of big paragraphs. I'm
Yeah, I
scared.
Oh,
say we
adult
save
big
that one as we get time.
paragraphs.
We
I'm
can dip
scared of
our
the
toe
big
in because
paragraphs.
because what you just said, he doesn't provide a better alternative to reason. The brain is churning.
Oh,
The brain is churning. Hold on. I guess the, what I'm trying to get at now
You turning milk into
is
cheese over there, guys.
looking at cheese. What I'm trying to get at now is his idea of creating these two worlds of reason and instinct, one true and one not, which is sort of what he talks about in the Reason and Philosophy. Um,
oh, right, where it's like we say, or like more modern philosophers are all like the senses. The senses must be deceiving us from like the reality, the
hmm
reason.
My emotions, my senses, my
Yes, you must
what I
focus only on
see.
reason. And in a sense, you get almost too rational, or it just doesn't even make sense anymore because you try to explain everything, and some things don't have an explanation.
So rational, you have another world now.
Yeah, which is
I
Nietzsche's whole
feel
thing
like
is that you have to stay in this world.
yeah, but I feel like we're living in a world where you're so instinctual, you're living in another world now.
Really?
Like we've managed to walk away from the truth in a totally different direction.
Could
Because
you
it's
Yeah,
like,
could
what
you
does that mean?
expand
well,
on and on your reasoning as to actually I guess I could probably figure out the reasons why, but I would like to hear you expand on the reasons why you would say that we live in a more instinctual world and we've made a walk around back to that.
I think that there are sections of us that are living in such an incredibly rational world that we've boiled the entirety of life down to the number that is money, and those people are like they have built their entire life around extracting the number from everybody else. But I think most people are living in a world where they're like, dang, life sucks. I'm just gonna like watch YouTube video that confirms my biases and makes me feel good about the things that I already think. Because that feels good. I'm going to play video game and vape. And not that any of these things in themselves are wrong, but you have built this world for yourself where you are just going at whatever makes you feel good short term. And because of that, you find yourself living in a completely different reality than what is in front of you. Because to admit that the reality you've created is wrong or false or even worse, detrimental to you and the society around you is so painful that you just don't even reason with it at all. That's why I think we're in the opposite direction. I think we're too extreme. Nobody's like in the happy median anymore.
Very
People.
rarely in the happy medium.
I mean,
Yeah.
nowadays it's almost like you have to pick a side.
Yeah, you're clowned for being the fence sitter, you know.
Right.
It's weird and interesting. So I don't
Oh,
know,
it's
how
like
do
pick
you
a
think
side.
Nietzsche
Yeah.
would feel about that?
He would just tell people to freaking get off their butts and work on this reality that we are in. That's what he would say.
This is a good point. Nobody's doing.
He'd be
So he's
like,
not really all for full instinct.
it's like absurdism, where he's like, focus on doing something great right now in the current world that we live in. You know, like the whole Nietzsche's whole thing is that he wants people to be exceptional, like exceptionalism, the Uberman, and to get off of this like living in a different world, a different reality, because it's like you can't prove it. And so why try to live in this other reality which you don't know for a fact exists instead of the one that we are currently living in? And why not try to do the best at it? Why try to have everyone be equal and bring others down in a sense when when we have the ability to form this exceptionalism and just be, at the highest peaks of what we are and what we can be. You know, it's very, after reading Nietzsche, I find him very motivating.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but maybe
I
it's because I
wouldn't say
haven't
that I'm
finished the
either.
book.
But of course, this like I said in our first one, this is my first introduction to Nietzsche, so
Well, to be fair, I thought the first like section of the Myth of Sisyphus was incredibly depressing. So, but
I mean,
at the end, I
yeah.
found myself smiling. So maybe I just got to give him some time.
That's the thing. Like, I'm already seeing a lot of parallels to absurdism in some ways, and I appreciate that because absurdism philosophy is probably my favorite form of philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think absurdism, like the myth of Sisyphus, Albert Camus definitely builds off of Nietzsche in a sense.
Hmm.
So far, it feels like Nietzsche is a little less of a whimsical version of that.
Yes,
I
Nietzsche
would
is
say.
very hardcore in a sense.
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
it to your face.
hmm He's so mean.
Which
He's,
I don't know if y'all
I mean,
saw,
look at
but
that face, bro.
he just loves
Some
roasting people.
he's very hardcore. He's a very hard realist.
They called Socrates an inbred.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, Socrates was very ugly, to be fair to
He
him.
said, by the way, Socrates was ugly and a criminal.
He's like, I really just don't like Socrates in philosophy, and he's ugly. Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, he was like,
Just
the
ultra dissing
anthropologists who
him.
are criminologists tell us that the typical criminal is ugly, and then spends the next 4 paragraphs talking about how ugly Socrates is.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he's trying to make a point. He's trying
On
to.
Oh man.
interesting problem with Socrates.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh man.
Socrates wanted
All
to
right.
die. It was not Athens. It was he who had himself the
It was
poison
he.
cup.
It was he who wanted to die.
Well, y'all
I
got
feel like
anything else or
we're at a tough point where feel like we don't have enough time to continue, but I don't have much more to say about what we have.
neither
Yeah,
do I. Kind of like I feel like there's a little bit more, so I'm missing, but I don't want to get into the next chapter yet because I do think next chapter and then a couple
It
chapters
plays into it.
after that have good substance for another episode.
Mhm.
yeah. It's so interesting how we've gone about this book.
I know we should definitely read some more though,
Yeah, I
just in
think so too.
case.
Yeah,
Maybe
I do
morality is
think
anti-naturalist.
I
the
do
way
have
this.
some. Oh, go for it, Connor. I'll say
Sorry.
after.
I was just gonna say I do kind of feel like this is set up in kind of a Marky Mark way. Like these are very complete thoughts, and arguably small sections, because
Hmm.
like what Socrates was only like 5 pages or what, something like that
Yeah.
Yeah.
for us. Um, but it has enough information to where we can talk about those 5 pages for hours.
Yeah.
Hmm.
True.
Like just the darts was a for you guys, the darts, the arrows for us was a great representation of that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. The darts one reminded me of like the 12th chapter where he has that of Marky Mark where he has the like it's literally like
All the
10
bullets. Yeah.
like lines in a row
Yeah, and they
that each of
all
them are
hit.
very deep. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Really started
I
spitting
don't know.
towards the end there.
Is it another no homework week? I feel like we
I
should
Uh,
read a little
guess
more. It's
I think we
Christmas.
I
We
should.
kind
have
of
Yeah,
think
time.
so
yeah,
too.
we got
Yeah.
time.
at least
Yeah. I mean,
history of
we.
an error and morality as anti-naturalness.
Yeah.
I already read History of an Error.
I
Or
guess it
well,
wasn't
it's
like one
technically
page.
how the true world finally became a fable. Morality of anti-naturalists. The Four Great Errors is long though.
That can have its
Yeah.
own.
That one's
Yeah.
probably that's gonna be something.
So yeah,
Maybe
we could
save that
shoot
for
for definitely through morality.
like
Read
finish
up to the
that
four
for
great
Yeah, I can go
errors.
to the. Yeah, we can do that.
yeah, like stop at the Four Great Errors. And if
Yes.
we don't get
Yeah.
to it, we just don't get to it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
And meet next week again.
Can definitely shoot for
Give
it.
give Howie a buffer because I know he was sweating the last two episodes.
Yeah, we can shoot for next week. Yeah, the last one was pretty. Ooh,
I know the
the last
last
one
one
was a
was
little
really
scary.
tough.
But yeah, we can shoot for
Hey, we
we can
kept to the
shoot for next
schedule
week.
though.
Yeah, we did.
Actually,
Still
wait, real
bi-weekly.
quick round of applause for Howie for keeping to the schedule, even though we've
Oh,
not made it easy
thank you
on him
guys.
at
Thank you,
Yeah.
all.
thank you. I literally like literally like my past few Saturdays have just been like the morning I just wake up and straight edit this episode. I gotta get
That's
this done as soon as I
dedication.
can.
That's
Yeah,
dedication. And I
it
can't
is.
ask for anything more.
Yeah, of
Well, we
course.
can help him by actually building up a buffer. I think that'd probably
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
let's rebuild.
be yeah. We had a
And
little
me,
bit of a buffer for a bit, and then
And it's a good thing we did.
Yeah.
So
All
yeah,
right,
we did. We gotta
well,
take it while we can. We gotta take the opportunity while we can.
sounds good.
possibly next Tuesday, 7:30. Same time,
Yes,
same
sir.
place.
Same time, same place. Merry Christmas
Yeah.
and happy holidays.
Happy
Mm-hmm.
holidays, everyone.
And a Merry New Year's.
Merry New
Mm-hmm.
Year's, just in
Yes.
case we don't meet next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Good night, boys.
Good night, y'all. See ya.
There's just y'all.
Deuces.
Yeah.
Adios.
Thank you for listening to today's book club. If you want to support us, please feel free to leave a rating and review on wherever you get your podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, so either one of those would be great help. Also, leave a follow. That'd be amazing too. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, please leave some comments, like the video, subscribe. Another way you can help support us is we are Amazon affiliates, which means you'll see in the description wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast on the episode, there will be a link to the book that we are currently covering, or if we spin the wheel to select our next book, you'll also see a link to the next book that we will be covering as well. And these links are to the books the exact same books that we are reading during the podcast. So, if you're going to read the book anyways, it'd be a great help if you could use the link. It's going to be no additional cost to you. And we do get a small uh, percentage of the proceeds. So you get a book, and we also get a benefit. It's a win-win, honestly. And even if you don't get, like, even if you don't use the link, I still recommend getting the book. One, because it helps to read what we're reading, so you can kind of have some more context into what we are discussing, as well as having your own book. We're not covering everything in the book on the podcast. That's impossible to do in an hour and a half. And so It allows you to get some really nice information in there that, again, we just can't cover. And it also allows you to annotate your own book. So, if years down the line, you can kind of come back to the book, kind of remind yourself on the lessons you learned. And, if you reread it again, you can have almost like a conversation with yourself back in time too. It's really an investment to, I think, read and buy books. So again, thank you for listening to Book Club and can't wait to catch you in the next one.